Namaskar. I'm Dr. Nalini Avinash Wagmare, working as an associate professor at Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapith, Pune. Today's our topic is related to Sabha and Samiti. What is its importance in ancient period and what its structure and what its role and importance in that political period. So, in the early Vedic period, uh, witnessed the emergence of rudimentary political institutions in the form of tribal assemblies. Among these, Sabha and Samiti were the two most significant institutions that played vital roles in shaping the political and social structures of the time. These bodies represented participatory governance in the early form, reflecting the democratic ethos of the Vedic Aryans. They are often viewed as precursors to later political institutions in ancient India. It means when in ancient Indian history we open, when the political institutions under that the Sabha and Samiti played a very important role. So in this lecture we have to study in detail related to that. So nature of the Vedic polity. The Vedic polity was tribal rather than territorial. Society was organized into tribes, janas, each headed by a king or chieftain Rajan. The king was not an autocrat but governed with the support of tribal assemblies. The political system emphasized shared decision making, which was facilitated through institutions like Sabha and Samiti. What was the meaning and composition of this Sabha and Samiti? Sabha was a smaller and more select body, likely composed of elders and noble or learned individuals. The term itself denotes an assembly or council. It means Sabha. It was more akin to a modern day councils of advisors or upper house, like lower house and upper house in our political institutions. Membership was probably restricted and deliberations were more confidential and serious in nature. The Samiti, on the other hand, was the General Assembly of the tribe. It was a large body, included free male members of the tribe. This suggests a form of parliamentary participatory democracy where common tribal members had a say in major matters such as war, peace, and selection or removal of kings. So at that time, this Samiti played a very vital role. Then the term Sabha occurred 8 times in the Rig Veda and 17 times in the Atharva Veda. In one instance, Sabha referred to a meeting hall. Means religious texts also give a lot of information about the Sabha and Samiti existed in Vedic period. In other instance, Sabha referred to a body of men shining together. The term Sabha was often linked with the term Samiti, meeting together. Both words referring to a gathering, assembly, or council of people. The Atharva Veda identified Sabha and Samiti as two daughters of the high Vedic god Prajapati. Whenever the terms appear together, Sabha preceded Samiti, leading some scholars to infer that Sabhas might have existed before Samitis. No ancient texts, however, have identified clear differences between Sabhas and Samitis, their sequence in appearance or their relation to each other. Although Sabhasthan, Assembly Hall Pillar, described a feature of the Sabha's physical structure. A variety of additional Sabha-linked terms suggested actors and activities that may have taken place in the Sabha. Means everyone have some work they have distributed to them at that time. Sabha Vin, keeper of the gambling assembly hall. Sabha Saha, eminent in the assembly. Sabhapati, lord of the assembly. Sabhya and Sabhya Yoga, worthy of the assembly. Sabhachara, Sabhasad, Sabhyas, member of the assembly. Sabhavati, women member of the assembly. So it shows that women also participated in that time. Sabhapala, guardian of the assembly. According to the Rig Veda, people in the Sabha called on the deity Indra to protect the Sabha and its members and to grant their words effectiveness in the Sabha. Then the term Samiti occurred 9 times in the Rig Veda and 13 times in the Atharva Veda. The Rig Veda stated that one could not rule without a Samiti. One Vedic reference describes a Rajan's ruler presence in a Samiti. Another reference describes several rulers sitting together in a Samiti. The Rig Veda reported people in the Samiti discussing their cattle. The one Rig Veda prayer called for agreement and unity of thought in the Samiti. The Atharva Veda included the prayer of a Brahman priest on behalf of the Samiti. So, Samiti was a folk assembly in which people of the tribe gathered for transacting tribal business. It discussed philosophical issues and was concerned with religious ceremonies and prayers. References suggest that the Rajan was elected and re-elected by the Samiti. In the beginning, there was no differences between the Sabha and the Samiti. Despite occasional reference to Sabhas, Samitis, and Rajans in the Vedas, none of the Vedas provided an ambiguous description of how Sabha, Samitis, and Rajans related to each other. This did not prevent subsequent scholars from suggesting the Sabhas and Samitis engaged in democratic, possibly even unanimous decision making, serve as a council to rulers or elected or removed rulers, collect taxes and declare war. These are the function of this both. Nor did it prevent subsequent scholars from suggesting parallels between the Vedic Sabhas and the Samitis. Sabha and Samiti in post-Vedic period. While the Samiti gradually fell out of use, the term Sabha continued to appear in the classical literature. As time passed, Sabha required different shades of the meaning. The Mahabharata described a Sabha in which the legitimacy of Yudhishthira, gambling away his and his brother's noble wife Draupadi, was debated before King Dhritarashtra. The Mahabharata also described 3 occasions when women entered a Sabha. The Apastama Sutra described the construction of a Sabha to be used as a guest house and recreation hall for the 3 higher Varnas, the ancient Hindu social ranks, the Brahmana, Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas. Then, in the Rig Vedic period, the tribal society of early Vedic people was organized around small, semi-nomadic communities, and various tribal assemblies played a crucial role in governing and making decisions for these tribes. Sabha, it was a gathering of the elect, Brahmanas, and the wealthy persons, patrons. The term Sabha is mentioned 8 times in the Rig Veda and 77 in the Veda. Already I have explained this. In the early Vedic period, women are also part of it. Sabha were older than Samitis and both are interlinked. Rajan considered the advice of this assembly very sagest. In Atharva Veda called Naristha, place of debate, and its decision is called Ananti, which decisions were binding. Then Sabhapati, Sabhya, Sabhyoga, Sabhaghora, Sabhasad, Sabhavati, Sabhapala. Sabhapati means Lord of the Assembly. Sabhya, worthy people of Sabha, Sabhacharya, members of the Assembly, Sabhavati. Already these are also explained. Then what were the functions of this Sabha? It was an assembly of elders and prominent people who made important decisions about policies and business. In the Rig Veda, it is mentioned as a place where gambling, dancing, dancing, and music took place. It had judicial powers in cases of crime. Members of the Sabha used to pray to Lord Indra to protect the Sabha and its members. Samiti, all the members of clan and tribe used to be part of it, excluding women. The Samiti word occurred 9 times in Rigveda, 13 times in Atharvaveda. The Atharvaveda include a prayer of a Brahmin priest on behalf of Samiti. The references Samiti come from the latest books of Rigveda, showing that it assumed importance only towards the end of the Rigvedic period. Atharvaveda of the later Vedic period exhibits a unique aim that testifies that the king considered the advice of the Sabha and Samiti. Chairman of Samiti called Isa. Then what were the functions of this Samiti? Samiti was a folk assembly in which people of the tribe gathered to transact tribal business. It used to elect the Rajan, and it is said that the king's power was not permanent. If the king is unsuitable for the people, the Samiti can throw him out any time. It deals with political activities mostly. Then relationship between Sabha and Samiti. In the beginning, there was no differences between the Sabha and Samiti. Both were called daughters of the Prajapati. Sabha performed judicial function which the Samiti did not. Later, Sabha became a small aristocratic body and Samiti exists to big. Then what were the functions of these two? Legislative functions. Both Sabha and Samiti played roles in lawmaking and policy decisions. They debated tribal customs, resolved disputes, and formulated policies related to justice, defense, and resource distribution. The Samiti especially was involved in ratifying decisions of the king or voicing public opinion. Then, what was judicial function? The uh, Sabha often acted as a court of justice. Disputes among tribesmen, including serious offenses, were settled through its deliberations. The presence of wise elders ensured fairness and reliance on established customs. Then executive and administrative function of these two. The Samiti assists the king in administrative affairs. It had the authority to elect or depose the king, reflecting early democratic principles. Its approval was crucial for important state functions like declaration of war or alliance with any other states. One of the most significant political roles played by the Samiti was in the election and legitimation of the king, which is very important one. Unlike later hereditary monarchies, the Vedic Rajan often required the support of or selection by the Samiti. This ensured a check on autocratic tendencies and made the ruler accountable to the community. The Sabha acted as an advisory body, guiding the king with wisdom and experience. The existence and active participation of Sabha and Samiti in Vedic governance highlight the democratic inclinations of Vedic society. This institution allowed for collective decision making, ensured the accountability of rulers, and gave ordinary tribesmen a voice in governance. While they were not democratic in the modern sense, they represent early Indian traditions of participatory politics. Then why these two are declined? With the transition from early Vedic to later Vedic period, 1000 to 600 BC, rise of large kingdoms and hereditary monarchies, the role of Sabha and Samiti began to decline. Centralized power grew day by day, and the royal authority became more prominent, so they neglected the Sabha and Samiti's decisions. However, the concept of assemblies remained alive in the later Indian political thought, evident in republics, Ganas, and Sanghas during the Buddhist era, and even influencing later democratic traditions. The Sabha and Samiti were foundational institutions in Vedic polity, ensuring participatory governance, legal order, and checks on royal power. They reflect a society that valued deliberations, community involvement, and ethical governance. Though their influence won over time, Their legacy remains a testament to India's long-standing tradition of consultative politics. So monarchy was exist that time. Uh, Sabha and Samiti members advise the king, and legally he's working or not. If he's not working well, then Sabha and Samiti have authority to remove the king from that place. It means that in Vedic period, in later Vedic period also, the political uh, small institutions played a major role in the kingdom. Then another one, the Vidhata, meaning order. The Vidhata has been interpreted as a tribal gathering with various purposes and decides on important matters related to religion and warfare. Including women and elders also participated in Vidhata. Vidhata collectively worship the Vedic deities such as Agni and Indra, offering sacred food and singing their praises. The flag of Vidhata consists of the symbol of Agni. Women actively participated in the deliberations with men. Vidhata was the earliest folk assembly of the Aryans, performing all kinds of functions like economic, military, religious, and social. It also provided common ground to clans and tribes for the worship of their gods. The Vidhata was headed by Rajan, assisted by the priest. Laws, Vidhi were made and enforced in Vidhata. Like Sabha Samiti, Vidhata also played a role in the political field in ancient period. Then what is the importance of these two things? The Sabha and Samiti were important assemblies from a political point of view, and the king showed eagerness to win their support. The king did not maintain any regular or standing army, but in times of war, he mustered a military whose military functions were performed by different tribal groups called Vrata, Sardha, or Gana. In conclusion, we can say that the basic unit of the political structure in the early Vedic period was a family or kula. Several families came together from a grama. Then several grama came together to form Vish. Then several Vishu came together to form a Jana, which was the highest level in administrative stratification. A Jana was headed by a Rajan, that is why Janapadi we called, who was regarded as the head and protector of the people. Two assemblies called the Sabha and Samiti helped the Rajan in taking decisions regarding several matters. The Sabha was formed by the old members of the time, while the Samiti was the folk assembly. So, in this way, the Sabha and Samiti assist the king to run his administrative in a well and good manner and maintain the peace, order, and prosperity in the society. So these are the few reference book you can refer for detailed study. T.N. History of Ancient India, V.D. Mahajan Ancient India book, R.H. Sharma's book, Aspects of Political Ideas and Institution in Ancient India, even Upendra Singh book, A History of Ancient India, Early Medieval India, Raghunath Rao P. Indian Heritage and Culture. Even one website I have referred for preparing this PPT, you can also refer it for detailed study. Thank you. Thank you very much.